Brandy Von Holton here, and it is business tip day, okay? So it's business tip Thursday. So let me tell you how to be a big boss mare so you can be big boss and shot calling. Okay, so here's my business tips of the day, okay? It is my tallow. I needed to rub my tallow into my face. You have to be able to change as your business changes, okay? So I'm going to talk to you about some of the changes that we've done to give you like inspiration. Okay, so man, whenever we first started our ranch, we were like, hey, shavings will be included. Well, we realize now that we didn't need to have loose shavings. We need to have shavings in a bag, and it does not need to be included. Okay? Somebody just said, hey, I just waved to him. Then I tried so many different, I thought I needed to get into everything. I thought that I needed to diversify. Okay? Okay. So you do need to have a diversified income, but in the same lane. I thought the more the merrier, okay? And what that did was it dispersed my voice too much. So for example, we would have clinicians in, and I think one year I had like 13 different trainers here. This is too much. Now we have events and we have trainings that happen before that, and then I only have like people that we actually book 1 to 2 trainers a year. Okay, so my business was way too spread thin, and it was hard to get whenever I would talk to people or I would see that they had a need. People can't handle all those freaking choices. There's too many choices. People are just going to bow out. All right, they're not going to like make a decision. So like last year I had a gentleman by the name of Buster McLaury here. He's the head colt starter for the 4-6s, like the 4-6s that is referenced in Yellowstone. Okay, and then I have Lee Hart. And Lee Hart is a trainer that I've just seen him help way too many people to not keep inviting him back, okay? So this next year, we have Lee Hart here twice in the year. We have him here in June and then in September. And then our facility was rented out to a trainer that specializes in gaited horses, okay? So see how like instead of me being like, I've got this trainer and that trainer and this trainer and that trainer, I have a consolidated voice about what the heck we're doing. And then the trainer that is renting our facility, that one is not up to me to fill. So they are given a price for our covered arena. So then I will share it and put it onto our website as a courtesy, but then I'm not responsible for sharing all of them. I'm not responsible for filling it, okay? So other things that I had done, we used to host way too many different competition series. That was bad business on my part because people only have so much money that they can spend, and they don't want to just do everything at your place. Well, some of our clients do. And I love having those clients because they feel safe here. They know that they're going to get a fair shake here. They know that we are always striving to improve. However, people with their horses, they want to go and do other things and I want them to do other things. So we used to host, I think one year I hosted like 5 different types of competition here. Isn't that nuts? Like, it seems nuts now, but I used to be like just kind of running scared with our business. Like, I need to get people here, right? And I used to host events and then hope that they would, well, let me figure out Von Holton Ranch. And then they would come back for other stuff, or they just come to camp. But the first 5 years, I hosted a crap ton of events just because I needed to get our name out. I needed to give them a reason to talk about us. Okay, and boy did they. So it's some warranted and some not. You know what? If I'm the villain in someone's story, I reciprocate things that are, yeah, I'm a reciprocator, okay? So maybe I am someone's villain in their story, but you know what? I bet they don't have a spotless story to tell. Anyways, but now we just host one competition series, and that mug was full. For 2026, it's already full. And then we always do like a cost analysis on things. So we're bringing back an event. Anyway, so my business tip is to make sure you don't spread your voice out too much. Make sure you stay kind of in your lane. So like for us, I love what we host, and we excel at it. Like I'm not into big speed in our competitions because I think a lot of people don't have some of them, they need to do slower things with their horses to stay safe, right? So, and then you're slow first and then you increase speed. You can do it wrong like I did, and I just started in extreme cowboy racing, like the fast stuff, and it kind of messed my horse up a little bit because it blew him up. Like he was just like, "Woo, I want to go!" And the things that we host now are things that I wish that I would have had. So, for my business tip, it is you might have to do some things to get your voice out there. Like I joined a bunch of chambers of commerce. I volunteered to speak at events. I did not put a lot of money out there. We didn't have a lot of money to put out there to like sponsor. Everybody always wants me to give them money for like, oh, my daughter's doing this, my daughter's doing that. And I found that it was more beneficial for me to donate product, and then because then we paid at cost for that. I didn't ever find a big return on investment for like donating to individuals. And boy, everybody wanted us to donate. And I'm like, we don't have money to do that. We're trying to like build this business. Everything we made went back into it. Hey, my mom is watching. That's cool. So, your business tip is to stay in your lane. So like, for example, we host these all-inclusive women's events called Chicks in the Sticks. Well, now then, the event that I'm bringing back is an all-around cowgirl team challenge. So you see how like that's in like the same category. And then we host these Country Tough Trail versatility competitions. So it's a ranch horsemanship pattern, it's trail riding, and it's natural obstacles. Okay, so there's that. And the day before, we have 2 clinics to like practice and to, get your bearings with you. Well, then I have Lee Hart come in, that trainer come in, and he focuses on obstacles and transitions. Well, transitions are ranch horsemanship patterns, and he always does some trail with it. So you see, like, yes, we do Country Tough Trail versatility, and then I have a trainer here that's going to help with those things and help people, be able to do fun stuff like the all-around cowgirl team challenge or event or attend to Chicks in the Sticks. I found out the hard way that more is not better, right? More is not always, it's not always better. Actually, man, I have found that if you go too much in one direction of anything in life, it's not good. You need to kind of be mellow and in the middle, right? So that's your business tip for the day, is to kind of consolidate your voice and not be too crazy, out of what the heck you're doing. Something else is, I need something to drink. Okay. I need something to drink. Don't be afraid to change, okay? And the person that told me that, boy, and I really locked in on this, and I hate whenever I just like lock in on something. It was freaking Leroy Van Dyke, okay? Leroy Van Dyke used to have his own TV show, and I think he just turned 94 or 95. He's our next door neighbor, okay? And Leroy Van Dyke, he had a song called The Auctioneer, and he had a bunch of songs. But he had another song called Walk On By, and it was in the top charts of country music for the longest standing song. And it will never be beaten because music is made too fast now. Okay, so music used to not be made as quickly as it is now. Leroy freaking Van Dyke is my neighbor, okay? Anyways, he had told me one time that you got to be able to change. You gotta, and I see this in especially like the Western world. What up, Carrie? Girl, your name is right below my mama's name that's watching this. So, anyways, well, Leroy Van Dyke was one of the first singers to perform in Vegas, have a big show in Vegas. He was in the military. Holy doo-doo. You know what? I have found that I'm coughing more whenever I drink from plastic bottles. I've been trying to like quit with the plastic bottle, but I don't have one right now. That's not. He had his own, Leroy Van Dyke had his own show. He did music. He was also a professional auctioneer, and he also raised like mules, okay? And they all, so like, it was always a funny sight to see because you'd see all these white horses and then all of these mules. And we always joke that all of those horses were like, I just want a grandchild. Well, they'll never get a grandchild because they're all being bred to donkeys and making mules. And if you don't know this or hear, mules are sterile, meaning they still have sex drive, but they're not able to reproduce. If they do reproduce, they have an abnormality, okay? Like they have something wrong genetically, which is fine. But if a mule has a baby, then it's going to make national news because it was an oddity. So, but Leroy Van Dyke told me that you need to be able to change. So many businesses are like, this is the way we do it because this is the way we always did it. And man, they do not allow themselves to change. So like, for example, here somebody's trying to message me and I'm like, leave me alone for 2 more seconds. Our wedding venue, okay? So first we built a wedding venue, and then we were doing our Chicks and the Sticks events in there if we didn't have a wedding. Well, now we don't do the weddings in there because the Chicks and the Sticks is less people, so less wear and tear on my soul, and B, less wear and tear on the venue. And then also a Chicks and the Sticks makes us a higher income than what a wedding did, okay? Our weddings, we didn't have crazy prices, okay? We were a couple of $1,000s, and a lot of these wedding venues are like $6,000, $8,000, $10,000, okay? If we would have been closer to Kansas City, we would have probably been a $10,000 wedding venue, but we weren't. We're in the middle of nowhere, and my husband and I didn't want to have a high price on our wedding venue because we were like, we don't want to be part of the problem. Because we were like, man, these young kids are getting married and they are trying to start their life, and we didn't want to be part of them starting their life in debt, okay? So anyways, and now our wedding venue, we took out like the bride's room and we put in a commercial kitchen because now I host homesteading events in there. So, but you know how many people would have been like, we built a wedding venue, we're going to do weddings, and they wouldn't change. So it's okay to change and realize whenever something is not making you happy. So like, for example, the first building when you come onto our property, which looks like a compound, right? We got a bunch of different buildings, but the first one is our house, and I used to have my office in there. Well, we hated it. We hated having the office in there because we never got to have a sense of just us. We felt like we gave everything to our business, and like people would leave the door open and I'll be like, there's flies coming in, you know, or they would come in and they would have a cigarette. And I'm like, you're in my freaking house, bro. Like, don't, but they just viewed it as an office. So we took that office out and redid our house. And now, we figured out a way to help our clients and for us to have, you know, a home without people coming into it for an office that was in it. So, we're always looking at what we do, and we found the less we do, the more people come. The more that we get specialized in what we offer, it just seems like, and the more that we are not open, then the more people will make it happen, and we get our schedule out there super freaking early. So, allow yourself to evolve and change and consolidate your voice. That is my, like 100% my business tips for today. All right, so tomorrow I'm looking up on the board. Ooh, tomorrow is FAFO Friday, and it is Let's Learn How to Fight. So I missed my fight day last week because I was doing the big competition that I was in, where I went and competed in a 1 mile field race on my mule. Then I competed in knife throwing and archery, and that was from the ground because I do mounted archery also. And then we had 5 arena games. I competed in barrel racing, pole bending, dragging, a wheelbarrow race where I actually had to lead them with like 120 pounds of sand in that wheelbarrow, and then roping. And you know what I scored the highest in? Roping. Roping was my highest score, followed by the freaking wheelbarrow race, which is nuts because I'm chubby, but I am really strong and I'm athletic, right? But there were 14 people that ended up competing, and I ended up 6th out of 14. I got 5th in the wheelbarrow race, and I got 2nd in roping. But I was like super happy. Oh my gosh, do you know that almost 200,000 people have looked through my photos and clicked to read more on that competition that I did? And we have an all-around cowgirl challenge that's going to be at our ranch, and it's for teams of 2, 3, and 4 people. And they compete in equine events and non-equine events, and it's just such a blast. I love that. That is in July of next year, and it's open to 20 teams, but up to 25 teams, because the teams can have 2, 3, and 4 people. So if we had a bunch of teams in that first 20 that were 4-person teams, then we would cap it at 20. It's kind of, we're just going to have to gauge it for whenever we start running out of electric sites or stalls or something like that. But we know we could do 20 teams, and then up to 25 if we had a whole bunch of people sign up that were 2-person teams. Anyways, so my last name is Von Holton, right? And if you go to vonholtonranch.com, you'll see it's called a hamburger cut down. If you're on your phone, it's the 3 lines. That's called a hamburger, and you click on it. I just learned that last week, and then it'll tell you everything. Well, it says Cowgirl Challenge. So check that out. All right, I will see y'all later. I can't believe my mom watched this. Okay, Megan Wilson, good job at the retreat. You did great. Oh, well, thank you very much. All right, I'll see y'all next time.